Hi everyone. In today's tutorial, we will be talking about how to create fast API and perform CRUD API's operations against MySQL database in Python project. In last tutorial, we understood what is SQL model library and how this can be useful for developers to connect with database and get advantage over SQL Alchemy library because SQL model is built on top of SQL Alchemy and Pydantic module. So Fast API is a high performing web framework for building APIs with Python based on standard Python type hints. It has numerous key features. It is one of the fastest Python framework. It has type hints for automatic validation and documentation. It has interactive docs which automatically generates Swagger and redoc documentation for your API. It has built-in support for async and await for non-blocking code. It provides numerous security features which includes tool for OAuth 2, JWT and request validation. It also supports dependency injections to keep your code modular and testable. So as I said, we are going to perform API's CRUD operations against MySQL database, right? To successfully complete this crash course in VS Code, you first need to set up development environment. I have opened my VS Code instance where we are going to create Python projects. First, we will create a virtual environment for this Python project. I have to just click on View, Command Plate, select Create Environment. Just select .venv file and select the interpreter. We have Python 3.13 version on our machine. So virtual environment is created. Now we are gonna install few packages in this virtual environment, right? I'm gonna open my terminal and the environment is activated. Let's see what are the packages which are installed in this new environment. There will be only one. Now I'm gonna install these packages. Okay, we need fast API framework, we need UVCon, that is our server, we need SQL model, and we need PyMySQL package as well, right? To connect with our MySQL database. Okay. So packages are installed. Let me type in the command again to check the list of packages. So we have these many packages which are installed in this virtual environment. We have FastAPI, PyMySQL, we have SQL Alchemy as well, we have SQL Model, we have Starlet and UVCon as well, right? First, I'm gonna create a folder that is config, which will actually have a Python file that will connect with our MySQL database. Okay, we will also create a new folder for our model. I'm gonna create a new file here that is database.py. For this, I have some code handy to save some time. This is my database connectivity code, right? We are using SQL model. So that package actually is used to connect with our database. We are using a create engine function where we need to pass database connection a string. This is the user ID. This is the password for that user. This is the server of MySQL. This is the port that we are currently running with, and this is the database name, right? And this method we are using from urllib.parse, which actually handles the at the rate sign in our password, right? Otherwise, you don't need it if you do not have any at the rate symbol in your password. This method actually will create a engine object for us, and then this engine we will pass on to our create all method. So this create engine function that connects to our MySQL database, and this create DB and tables function which is used for creating tables automatically based on our models. We are going to now define model for our CRUD operation. Customers.py. I have some code handy to save more time. We are creating a new customers model that is a new identity for us where we are going to insert and update our data. Okay, this customers model has fields like ID, name, email, and mobile. And we are also taking SQL model as a base model for this entity. It means that the same class is going to serve as Pydantic model for data validation and SQL Alchemy ORM, which actually maps to the database table and a structure with type hints for a better IDE support. And we have set this table equals to true because we want to create a database table for this type. I'm going to create main.py, and here we will import fast API customers import because we need customer models because we are going to create this new table from this main.py. Okay, now we will create a app instance. Okay, we have created a new instance for our app which will create our fast API, right? In order to run any of the endpoint on our fast API, we will say get, that will be our home endpoint, and we will return hello API. Okay, we have saved the program. In order to run this API, we have to just type command uvcode main app reload. You can see that this URL will be served as a local host on our machine. Okay, right? If you open your browser and say localhost 8000, that will hit your default endpoint. Okay, now application is ready, and this is the port that we are running with. Now our API is running with the message, right? You see, okay, if you make any changes to your code, then the change will be reflected. Okay, you see, because we have used reload argument. Okay, you refresh the program, you will see that message is changed. So this endpoint actually working as a root URL, okay, where we have defined a message that actually returns a JSON object. FastAPI take care of serializing the Python dictionary into a JSON object and setting the appropriate content type. Now, the next step, we are going to create a table for our customer. Now we are going to import our a database file that will actually called from here, and it will create a customer table, right? So I'm saying from config dot database, and then I'm importing a function that is create db and tables. Okay, so this is a function that we are going to use here when our API is startup. Okay, because that will create a customer table only once when the API is startup. So this is the function that we are going to call. So we want to make sure that once the app starts running, the function this function create dbn tables is called. So we are going to use a lifespan function to handle the startup event for fast API. I'm going to import a package, right? And then we have one code snippet handy to save some time, that is async context manager. And this lifespan we will be using here. Lifespan. This is the function that we are going to inject. This means that this code will be executed once before application starts receiving request, right? So before yield, we are making sure that our application is startup, and after yield, we can make sure that our application is shut down. I have saved the file, application is startup complete, and you can see that customer table is created into the database. Okay, we have the same columns that we have defined in our customers Pydantic model. So let me show you one more thing that, so this is a local host on which we are running our fast API. If you just type docs, you will be able to see a nice interface, which will actually use to interact with our APIs. Okay, we have home tab. If you click on try it out and click on execute that, you will get the response body. All right. Now we are going to add few records into the customer table. So let me create a new file, that is add customers. So this is the code snippet that we are using for adding new customer into our database. We have SQL model, and this model is a type of these customers. These customers which we had created over here, this type, okay? And this type is already connected with our database table, and then we are taking engine object which actually requires for this session method. The session method will take this new customer object and it will add to the database and it will commit the data. Okay. And this function we are going to use in our fast API. We go to the main.py. We are going to add a new endpoint that will post the data into this fast API. Okay. We have to import add customers, add data. This method we are importing. Okay. URL will be customers on which we are going to post a new customer object and it will return the refreshed copy of the customer record. Okay. As soon as you save the file, your program will be refreshed. When you refresh your documentation, you will get a new endpoint over here, which is for adding new customer. We will create a new customer from here. Click on the post link, click on try it out. We have sample data for new customer. Just remove the ID and input the data which you need to add, right? I'm providing James. Just click on execute. As soon as you click on execute in a response body, you will get the data back to your document. Okay, this is the record that we have just created and it also create a new primary key that is id equals to 1. If you check the database, you will get a first row for this custom. We can also use response model to tell fast API the schema of data we want to send back. Okay, customers. This type of data we are going to get in form of our output. Okay, we have to just save our code, refresh the browser, and now you will be able to see in the responses section we are getting this expected type of data that we have created for our customer. Let's get some data from this customer table. We are going to create a new Python file that is query customers.py, and I have some code handy to save some time. So we are going to create customers model.customers. We have created a method that will actually return all the rows from this customer table. We have used session method and passed engine object, and with the help of select method we are going to get all customer records. I'm going to save this file, and then in my main.py file I'm going to import from query customer import all customers. Okay, and this function we are going to call into our default endpoint. We are just modifying this home endpoint because by default we will be getting all the customers from this table. Okay, we'll taking result and then all customers return. So we have to use this all customer. This is the function in this query.customer file. Perfect. Now we can refresh our API. You can notice over here as a response we are going to get a list of customer models. Click on try it out, click on execute. So you will be able to see two records. Okay. Sometime we may need to get customers by ID. So I'm going to create another method here which will return a specific customer. Okay. And this function I'm going to use into my main customer by ID. And then we are going to create another endpoint on our API, that is customer by ID, which means that with the URL, we will provide the ID of the customer, and this ID we are going to get from this customer ID. I'm going to import this as well. This is the HTTP exception class that we are using to raise exception explicitly from our endpoint. If our object is not null, then we are going to return it. Otherwise, we are going to raise a exception from this endpoint. We have saved the file, refresh the API, we will be able to see one more endpoint. You see, when you click over here, that parameter it will ask by the user. If you click on try it out, you can input any customer ID which exists in the customer table. If we pass 1 and click on execute, so it will return you the specific record in the response body. Okay. If we are passing the customer ID which is not exist, then you will get a simple message that customer not found. This is the message that we have set over here. Let's read customers with limit and offset, right? When a client sends a request to get all the customers, so we have been returning them all. But if we had thousands of customers, that could consume a lot of computational resources, network bandwidth, and so many things. So we will probably want to limit it. Okay, we want only specific sets of records where we can see the data easily. I have some code handy to save some time. We are going to modify this method a bit, right? We are providing offset value to our all customer records, and then we are saying only specific records we want from our customer table. Okay, and then we will apply all method. It will return all the records which falls under this criteria. Or okay, and then we are going to change our endpoint, and we will modify this all customer endpoint a bit as well, right? I'm going to use query. Okay, and then we are passing offset and limit to our all customer method that falls in this query customer. Okay, and then we don't need this endpoint. Okay, let's save the file, refresh our API, and for all customers you will be able to see two parameters. One is for offset, second for limit. We want to set offset is 0 and total number of records are 2. Okay, suppose we have multiple rows in suppose we have multiple records into our customer tables. We are going to post some more data. Okay, executed, executed, 3, 3, 3. Now we have inserted 3 more records into our customer table. Click on execute, you will get only 2 records. Let's say you want to get page number 2, you will get third and fourth record. If you want 3 records on your second page, then you have to just say limit as 3. Okay, you will get 3 records. If you want 3 records on your first page, then you just set 1. You see? So what we want now, we want to update email and phone number of customers through Fast API interface. Okay, we are going to create a new file that is update customers, and then we are going to create a model as well because we need only two fields to be updated. Okay, this is customers update model which we are going to use for update because we don't need to update ID or name. Okay, that's why we have taken a different model to perform this operation. I have saved the file and I have some backend code handy to save some time. Okay, this is a new file for us that will actually perform update operation against customer data. We have taken this customer underscore update, the new model which we have just created. We are only going to update two fields with help of session. We are connecting with our database and then we are getting a specific record for this customer and then we are checking if this customer is exist. Then we are going to update the model that we are providing from our FastAPI client. I'm going to put some code which will actually update the customer. Okay, we are providing customer ID with the URL and then response model would be the same for us. All right, and this is the customer update model that we have just created. I'm going to import this customer update. And another thing we need to use update customer, we have to import from customer import update customer method. Okay, customer ID we will take from the URL and then we will pass the customer model. If we get the specific customer, then it is fine. Otherwise, we will say that customer not found. I have saved the file. Let's perform the operation after refreshing the API. Okay, so you will be able to see that we have new endpoint that is patch for update. Okay, we are going to provide email and the mobile. Both are optional field for us. Okay, I'm going to try it out. I'm providing a customer ID. Let me refresh the table first. I'm going to update record number 4 and then we are providing the email ID. As soon as we click on execute, it will first check the model in the database. In the database, if it is exists, then it will update these two fields, right? It has updated the email ID and it has updated the mobile number as well. If you just refresh your data, you will see that we have record number 4 that is updated with test 4. Now we are going to perform last operation that is delete. I'm going to create a new file, delete customers.py. This is my delete backend function. So we are passing engine to our session function. This customer ID we will be providing from API interface. Okay, if we found the customer, it will return 0. Otherwise it will delete the customer and it will commit the data and return 1 to the client. Back to my main.py and I have one endpoint handy to save some time. We are going to use this delete method. These are the standard methods which actually provides by the API interfaces. Again, we are going to receive the customer ID along with the URL. Okay. And this customer ID we will pass to this delete customer that is backend operation for us. I'm going to import from delete customer, import delete customer. Okay. So this delete customer we are using as a backend operation and we are passing customer ID to this method. If result is 0, then we are going to say that we did not get the customer which you want to delete. Otherwise, we will return it was deleted. I have saved the file and we refresh our API again. You will see that we have new delete endpoint. You have to just pass customer ID. We are going to delete customer ID number 5. Just enter 5, click on execute. You will get that is true. Okay, which means that we have deleted the customer from the table. Okay, and if you see all the records, you will see only 4 records. So there is no fifth record. Okay, check the database. There is no row with ID number 5. Okay, this is how you can perform delete operation. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned creating CRUD APIs using Fast API. It covers core aspect of API development, including defining data models, processing requests, and interacting with databases. Okay, so hit a like button and give me the comment down below of this video. Don't forget to subscribe the channel. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video.